Good morning. Strange market, huh? Little quirky. Get some charts up here. Oh, right. It's Friday, zero DTE day. Someone on YouTube. It's hard to say your name is Stavaros, if I'm saying that right on YouTube. He says AVGO is gapping out of the chart. I said, make your chart bigger. He says he needs a new monitor. All right. So let's see. Okay. So I said, can a bullish 1, 2, 3 pattern perform if it's far from the 20 MA? And so there aren't 1, 2, 3 patterns everywhere, but the NASDAQ futures here are 1, 2 inside bar, 3 triggering. And it's not excessively far from the 20, but it is a measure that we use as to say, hey, we call anything related to using a moving average as part of your analysis, we call it a visual aid because it's always about price. But moving averages can be used in that way if you know their um, deficiencies. So it's a little far from the 20. We see things further from the 20 than that. But we got a 1, 2, 3 and it's breaking out here. In addition, you can see things are starting to pull back here a little bit. I looked at the Magnificent Seven, and that's a 1, 2, 3 far from the 20. Right? Whereas this consolidated into the 20 and ripped up wide range bar after multiple days up, historically signals momentum is going to slow. It's going to go sideways, it's going to chop around, it's going to pull back. Right. So this looks like a pattern that should consolidate the gain. So as a 1, 2, 3 far from the 20, if it's not trading above the high, it's best to say, I'll let that one pass, right? Since the odds are against it following through. And so as we start to look around what's happening here, right, this gap that's happening, and we'll look at the S&Ps here. They're doing nothing. It's just an inside bar inside yesterday's range. So far, it's been a sideways correction. Right? Remember when we got the correction, right? So the S&Ps went up. This was the correction day, right? When we look at the internals was 1125. And the S&Ps went up, the Qs went up, and we've discussed already. It was all about the FANGs, all about the FANG stocks, and pretty much everything else was either going sideways or lower. So now the FANG stocks are correcting, right? Well, they're going to correct. Right? Most of them are either flat or a little bit lower this morning with this gap up. And so this move up based on AVGO and maybe some others is suspect as far as the market actually continuing to move higher without more corrective action. And so there's some profit taking occurring as I'm speaking here. In the context of the daily chart, it's really no big deal. The 65-minute chart is just a trading range. Not sure if my templates work anymore since I had this little mini disaster on my. No. Anyway, I'll have to fix that. I can change the color easily. So, just a choppy trading range going on here, support and resistance. And this is something we'll keep an eye on. You can set an alert down below the low of this wide range bar. The Russell continuing to move lower. That looks like it's going to be a move down toward the 50 and this major support level. That's typically what happens. You get a green bar, it's pulling back, it's on the 20. Look at the bottoming tail bar, that failed. And then you get the topping tail bar, tried to go up, it fails. So you get all these little failure bars in something that moved up nicely. It's trying to make the turn up and it's not. So some bearish price action, and at some point, do they throw in the towel, and where will buyers want to step up? Down here, somewhere in this area, and the 50 MA and this major support. So let's continue. That looks like it's going to go lower, and there's your sell setup on the 5-minute chart, and it's going lower. The Dow, it's pulling back to where it would start to make a turn. Nope, nope, nope. Yesterday we talked about fluid movements. What's a fluid movement? It opens where the prior bars closes, and it continues in the direction. It continues, and it continues. And it's just walking its way down to this moment, looks like down toward the 50 MA and that major support level. All right. Now we've got this gap up in the NASDAQ. We look at the spiders. We look at SPX. It's just a trading range, flip-flopping back and forth. Was gapping to the top of yesterday's red bar. Yesterday was a red day within a trading range, right? No big deal, right? Sideways, sideways, sideways. If it breaks this bar here, okay, now we've got a little something and still going to be in an uptrend, but so far the markets are just doing nothing. They're just whipping up, they're whipping down, kind of running in place, different corrections going on. And as we always do, we see what the day brings us. SPX, and we know where that was. It's pulling back. And typically, when markets gap up, this call strike goes higher. It's not. It's the same one. It was same where it was yesterday. This one came up. I think it was 5 strikes. I think yesterday was 60-35. So what does that tell me? With that gapping up, this up a little bit. Option traders are saying, you know what? I think this is BS today. Otherwise, they'd be bidding those options up, and they're not. So today's gap up here is suspect. But we can form a bias, a belief about that. And then we're going to see exactly what happens. But that's the conclusion I'm coming to, just based on what I've already explained. Yesterday, the transports, they're beginning to stabilize. There are some interest. They're sitting there on the 50. We got a bottoming tail bar. It failed, bottoming tail bar. Rails and some others have been beaten down enough. So, maybe some money going into what's beaten down. However, look at the S&P value. You think the correction isn't going on here? Look at the date. That was the date of our signal from the internals. It'll move up. And on the 27th or so, that's where a lot of things really started to pull back. Down, 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 down. This is now down near this pivot low. And depth of the retracement is bearish. It's on major support. There is an unfilled gap down here. So maybe it's headed there. It's on this pivot. So we're going to see if this can actually make a turn today or not. Got to look at Bitcoin, of course, which has just been marking time, whipping back and forth. No big deal what that's doing today. You can see it's extended here on the weekly time frame, but so far correcting sideways. Gold down, yesterday or the last few days, I said this is kind of a erratic sort of a pattern, and I don't know what to do with that. And so what do we do when we see patterns like this that are just wide bars and volatile, crazy? I don't know what kind of animal Dan would call this, a kangaroo, Dan, maybe something like that, as it jumps up and down. But you see something like this, what do? You go to a higher time frame, you condense it to see if it makes sense. And it's wild on the weekly time frame. I go to the monthly. Extended, consolidating its gains. Leave it alone. Leave it alone for now until it tightens up on the daily. Crude oil is up a little bit, just marking time. We've been talking forever about whether it would break this low or not. But it's getting tighter. It's getting tighter. And now I never draw trend lines for support and resistance. Right? I draw trend lines to display a tightening. Right? So you need to call this a descending triangle or something. Sometimes the lows get higher, but what we're displaying here is that the spring is being wound, right? The distance from the support, where it jumped up here, distance from the support, how it jumped up, it's getting tighter and tighter. So it's at some point, this thing is going to break. I mean, it could break higher. Well, we don't know. What do? Stay away. Silver is down, and was getting kind of interesting. I was hoping to get a correction bar. You say, what's a correction bar? Well, something that dips down under support and forms a bottoming tail bar and closes close to the high of the day. You buy it as a continuation pattern. That isn't happening. The dollar starting to move up. Some other countries lowered interest rates. It's got to help the U.S. dollar, which it certainly is. Let's get rid of this little ghost pattern, whatever you want to call it, head and shoulders that I drew. And the dollar is going up. Countries, U.S. companies that sell stuff overseas, makes their products more expensive over there. Some of them might suffer because of that. And what else here? Well, interest rates are up here a little bit. They look like they were going to dive down. So there's just this kind of uncertainty about everything right now, whether it's just, hey, the markets have made substantial gains this year and nobody really wants to sell, nobody really wants to buy. So we're just going to be dealing with some messy price action until something gives. And maybe today something's going to give a little. I say this move up here is kind of suspect, but it is bullish on a short-term basis, even on a 5-minute chart. Does it violate the uptrend? And then, it would violate it on the 15, and then we just see where it all goes from here. So the takeaway from all of this is don't be so willing to jump on board something here, especially for a swing trade on the long side. I wouldn't short anything unless it's in a downtrend. Seasonality is bullish. Day trades, of course, and we'll see 0 DTE, what we can find. And other than that, I think it will just be a continuation of this erratic price behavior until, who knows, maybe until we get into next year, but we'll see what gives. Oh, well, semiconductors look kind of interesting, right? They're gapping up and they're hanging here, but still they're in a big, messy trading range with AVGO. So we'll see how this evolves. And all yours, Dan.
Good morning. No, that's a bullish gap in SMH. I posted a put spread on it, and I actually said that yesterday. It is not a 1, 2, 3. Why is it not a 1, 2, 3? Because 1, 2, 3s are bullish green bars, but to me the message is the same. If it's green, then it's a bullish continuation. If it's red like this, well, guess what? It was a bullish gap within that red bar and a bullish consolidation. So let me give it to you all now. If you're not in, don't have our Telegram. So that's what I mean, there's no trigger other than I just swagged it there with, let's see if we can get $1 for next week under the week's low. Let me get it loaded up here. So at the open, and then obviously we can try 0 DTE too, like I did with NVIDIA. So let's see here, 237, 230. All right, so I got it loaded up. See what it does at the open. And NVIDIA was another one, trading range, but now this one's not as bullish because it's gapping to this high. But I posted this as a 0 DTE under 137. And so same idea. Amazon I posted as a 0 DTE call spread. It's bullish as can be, but I put the trigger under Wednesday's low. And then it would be, a 2-bar reversal. And it's only 0 DTE, not 7. I don't trust call spread on this pattern for 7 days, but 0 I do. And relative weakness, it's gapping down with the Qs flying. So anything red is relative weakness. Look at Microsoft. Actually, I said yesterday when this thing was cracking, if it were Friday, I would have done a call spread. Meta that's the 0 DTE. I think I looked though, and there was no juice. Netflix 0 DTE. So I said in the video last night, unless we get a big bullish gap, I was 100% 0 DTE call spread bias today. IWM call spread. I mean, we talked about a possible measured move lower yesterday. Down to the 15. Diamonds still just steady weakness, but there's no juice in 0 DTEs here. All right, other alarms, then earnings, Bravo X-ray. So it was a gap breakout from a 180. You got a little bottoming tail retest. So I like this over yesterday's high. Buy setup weekly. I've been watching this entire insurance brokerage sector. There's 4 of them here I'm watching. They're all climbos. No rush to get in. TJX alarm went off up here, but now it's down, doing nothing. Earnings now. Abgo. Yeah, that was a bullish pattern. I actually was looking to do maybe the 160s yesterday, but so many times you can't get a good credit because they're all expensive, and so you got to decide whether to take less credit or go naked. But that's an igniting gap breakout. It's just excessive, so nothing to do. Costco, remember Sam I am? I was tempted to sell the 1,080 calls. They were $1 because things that run this much into earnings, and that's a bearish reversal. I mean, of course it could have gapped up $50. Of course it could. But I had a full bearish bias on that. So that's a call spread idea. Let me put that in a window actually. And he's usually juicy. And X gapping down. It's a mess. That would be a call spread idea if there's anything at the 30s. RH, I know Sammy Boy did at the 300 naked, I think. So that's a home run. If I were you, I'd just let it expire at full profit, unless you don't mind paying a penny. But that's an igniting gap breakout. Look at that bottoming pattern on the monthly. Alex, I think you and I were even contemplating for long over here somewhere. So that's bullish as can be. And, a little bit related. I always look at whiskey here also, Wayfair. And there's no pattern. It's a bullish move. All right, those were all the earnings. Texan. Yeah, you know what I like better though than Texan is Qualcomm. Why? Because it's tighter. It's tighter to the turn. It's tighter to the 20. It's bearish weekly. It's bearish monthly. We already have a call spread on this. And yeah, this, I already got my alarm at 157. This looks fantastic to me under the week's low. And you could say, well, yeah, but look at all these support over here, Dan. And I'd say, yes, but there's more football players above than below. It's declining 2050, and the bigger time frames are bearish with relative weakness. Why is this gapping down when the semis are flying? So yeah, Texan looks more like a grinder, but I like this one. All right, just miscellaneous stuff now. Watch list. Sammy Boy gave me this yesterday. I just don't like swinging these that have fallen so much. But day trade, another a day trade short under the low, another grinder. CHRW and igniting blast off yesterday. So let's see if we can get a 1, 2, 3, 4. CMI, a day trade short yesterday's low and call spread. Actually, let me check 385s right now. 70 TE, 385. There are no 385s, and the 390s are 0 by 90. See, we find compelling patterns all the time. Or candidates for credit spreads. And then we go through our checklist, and unfortunately, unless you're dealing with the top 100 volume ones, then they're going to be spready or don't have a good expiration. WST igniting breakout. Also, this would have been a fantastic 320 put, but same problem, spready. FCX. Now I know it's down 4 bars on support, but look at this 15. So that's a day trade short with a void over here. That I like. Day trade short, stop over 42.20. Garmin would have been a good call spread, but breakout failure here. Is that? Yeah, all-time highs. Look at that. But there were this one, there was no weeklies, I think was the problem. CLSK, they had some news, I forget what, but that's a day trade short and a call spread idea. Mindy under yesterday's low. Well, it's a mess. Service now, I don't know if this was a downgrade or what, but look at the monthly. The monthly is a climb of all-time highs. So this is gapping down. That's a 0 DTE call spread idea. Or next week too, but I'd wait 30-minute low for that. Cream, 0 DTE put spread. If there's any juice. Put that in the window. Cream. Zulu India. I forget. I think this got a downgrade, but no good time. Amazon, we talked about. 0 DTE. Qualcomm, we talked about. Adobe got clobbered yesterday on earnings. It's still bearish. Daily, weekly, monthly are bearish, but I'll keep an eye on it. A coin gapping up, 30-minute high put spread idea. It's a big old bull rectangle here. Not falling. It's not rising, but 30-minute high put spread. Hood put spread, sloppy as can be, but it's in an uptrend. Nice range expansion engulfing yesterday. Put spread idea. Yeah, there's our TJX. Look at Dave here. I just saw this going by the ticker. Um, are there any Daves in the room? This is the name sector. That's a nice. Look at this monthly. Look at that. That's an igniting breakout on the daily, weekly, monthly, and now it's gapping up. That would have been a good put spread, but the spreads are crazy. S5V, Greg and I were talking about ASPI gapping from the turn at the 200. Let's see what that does. Loop, gap's too big, but igniting gap from a piece of garbage. DKS 123. I don't like the way it came down hard, and I don't like these overlapping bars, but this would be an excellent put spread. The problem is these spreads again. Let me set an alarm at 220 spot 60. Let's hold off on this NVIDIA just because it's coming in hard. Okay, this is a 0 DTE I mentioned. Let's see how SMH. SMH is holding like a tank, and NVIDIA's coming in hard. Oh, shoot, Qualcomm, I just had an up alarm. I must have had a tight alarm, or did it just rally? But yeah, see, so NVIDIA, see, is weaker. It's coming in a little bit. I mean, it could be the ideal entry, but SMHs are stronger. All right, Qualcomm, yeah, I just had a tight alarm, but our call spread is still fine. Let me move it up to up alarm 159. And I hope it closes like this. It's because then it'll make the short even better for next week. Yeah, you had a nice trade there, Arm. Yeah, we did the put spread, took our money. All right, Costco, I mentioned. All spread. I doubt we're gonna get anything, but that would have been a home run had we sold naked calls into earnings. I'm sure it's gonna be spready. It's gonna be, well, not as bad as I thought, but it's only 51 by 83, so that's not enough, particularly to get a midpoint. But yeah, that looks bad. All right, a firm. I said move stop 5-minute high. We covered half yesterday, and that's, you know, we it's a you know we shorted a call spread on this breakdown, and I had tightened the stop yesterday. IWM the weakest as we predicted. Look at RH there, middle chart. Man, the shorts are not having a good morning either with Abgo, but see, this is a much bigger gap than RH. I'm a 30-minute low. This could be a 0 DT here. Let's see what it does. All right, cream I mentioned put spread, but actually now the gap's too big, so there's no way you're gonna get any premium down here. Any M is gapping down. Let's see, we were long this bottoming pattern 48.08. Oh, our stop is still far away. All right, but not liking the gap under that consolidation. That's for darn sure. Maybe we'll move the stop to 30-minute low, but not looking good now. BJ. Yeah, well, we have a bigger stop, but yeah, that's not acting right. We actually have very light inventory, right? Our TJX. Um, Set the alarms. Still a bull rectangle. You know, dead money, but it's fine. Bravo X-ray emitter. Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, let's move our stop here now. 481. AMD is tanking here. So yeah, I'm glad we held off on the video. Let me check the premiums on that SMH for next week. See how far off we are. Hey, Argan, Sammy boy, alarm. Been watching that all week. Ooh, good bottoming tail. You know what? We gotta buy half lot of this. Stop under 150.
The biotech, Dan.
A pure one?
RGEN. Oh,
I,
I'm
I
looking at REGN. Hold on.
yeah, I looked. Yeah, it's medical. Yeah, I looked yesterday.
Yeah,
Medical.
yeah. Okay.
And I would love to sell puts on this too with stupid spreads. Why isn't it moving? Yeah, absolutely, Steve. Yeah, we look at earnings every morning. But the question is, what is your bias and what are you going to do with it? Just saying, right. Wednesday, we talked about trading your pictures, right? Pictures that you want to trade, that you have a license to trade, and that are in your trading plan. And guess what? This one ain't in mine. It might be in yours, which is fine, but it ain't in mine. And our job is to follow our own trading plan. Patience and discipline to follow your own rules. That ain't mine, so I move on. But I did say possible 30-minute low, zero DTE call spread, but I don't I'm waiting right now. It's still bullish as can be. Same with that whiskey, not whiskey, Romeo Hotel middle chart. That Bravo X-ray trigger. Let me. Well, my alarm didn't go off. Let's see what the fangs are doing. Other than Tesla, the other fangs are bouncing a little bit. No, I don't see any patterns on the 15, but at least they're bouncing, which is held up the cues.
Nvidia is at the low of the day.
Yeah, that's why I canceled that one. I said that, and I said that, and AMD was tanking. Look at that tankage. Qualcomm still looks I hope it closes like this, and then we're gonna either short it or buy puts next week under the lows. Yeah, I like that. Hope it, yep, for the weekend ladder. Yeah, Sammy Boy mentioned it the other day here on the 180, and then I stopped watching it with the retracement. And yeah, yeah, that's what pattern is that, Alex? On the daily. There's multiple answers. Correct, correct, correct. You can call it a regular breakout, inverse head and shoulder breakout, and a 1-2-3. Wow, you're off to a good start here today in the quiz department.
Are you giving out gold empty stars today, Dan?
No, Sammy Boy does that.
Yeah.
Or Steve did first. Sammy is the emoji expert. All right, Bravo Juliet, low alarm, but it's an early alarm. But he's on probation. Q's new high, all-time highs. Q's right now. Look at that. Now, Greg, when you were showing the NAS futures were 1-2-3, I didn't say anything, but look at the cash here is not a 1-2-3. Just because it gets
I knew what it looked like. I was just making a point.
no,
But
I'm saying your futures were a 1-2-3. That's what I'm saying.
sure.
They were, whereas this one isn't. Here, EXE alarm went off. This should be. I hope it closes like this. This looks great for a breakout on Monday. nothing to do right now, but my early alarm went off. That looks great. Maybe 30-minute high. If we can do half lot, I'll put it in the window. Wow, Costco turned around and ripped up. No call spread in that anymore. Up alarm. Let me check the call spread. We have the 165, 170 for next week. Ah, the SMHs are only 40 cents. I wanted $1, so I got to cancel that. Qualcomm is 84. All right, move stop break even on Qualcomm, which is just a few pennies away. I think we covered half yesterday. I forget. Oh, I already said move it break even yesterday. All right, cool. And then firm 73, 78. No, no, TD is triggering. Let's all right, let's close. I move stop to break even. Let's kill this break even. I already had it posted break even, but that gap could have messed it up. I remember when I had this thing as a core long watch, I think. Yeah, look at this. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I had this on a core long watch right here. That had a nice move. Do it. Put spread from yesterday, doing nothing, but its pattern is totally fine. All right. No, TD, that was an early alarm. 53.31. Yeah, that was an early alarm. Never mind. Nice. JCI has been dead money. Ring, we legged into a covered call yesterday. That was a good decision. HAX, dead money. Again, we just entered half block, entered this, and that's it. Yeah, we still have light inventory. Qs are ripping here. All right, I have Amazon as a call spread, but nowhere near triggering. Apple's holding strong. Wow, look at this. I'm anxious. So even with AMD and NVIDIA down, those are two powerhouses. This thing is ripping. So we have to cancel our put spread because no juice. But I like that pattern. I said yesterday, if it got above these two bars, I think it's going you know, somewhere 255, 260. But there's no entry now. Yeah, yeah, that's a little hook pattern, Greg calls them. It's an ADR, so it's a little, it's expensive and gappier. $700 put spread. Ah, the spreads ain't that bad. Let's do a put spread on it. I expected them worse. Be under 700. 700. Do 290. 285. But yeah, you can trade as a breakout also. So nice. Look at the 65-minute chart. It's a nice gap breakout. Greg, you want a directional too?
Know who's going to buy it? $700 stock.
That's not our problem. One share. We have different type of people. So that doesn't bother me at all.
I do it. I don't think anybody who's going to buy one share and tie up that money, but whatever.
Yeah, yeah, bearish consolidation after breakdown, sure. And 50 is subjective, but you know, I think yeah, 50 or a tad lower. Diamonds OWM, diamonds just gun for the low. A D line gapped up. Wow, I just noticed that gapped up only to negative 400. And now it's negative 900. So it's still within yesterday's bearish range. Wow. Oh, look at Schwab tanking here. There's a call spread. That's a something something bar. No juice. None for next week.
If you got juice in the spiders, that's a big down bar, 5 minute at resistance.
Yeah, thanks. I guess. I gave the wrong strikes as well. No, the stop is right. I gave the wrong strikes. It's 690, 680. Let's see what I did. Yeah, 690, 690, 685. Yeah, so stop. Wait, seven. Wait, maybe it's not. No, you're right. It's under. All right, you're right. I screwed two things up. Under 700 is 699. Got it. All right, thanks. Yeah, I screwed two things up there. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, there's a video on it, Steve, in the members area. But what break even means, well, it totally well, it needs an explanation. It's not a one word answer. So Steve, if we're talking about um it, stocks is easy. Break even is your cost basis. If it gaps beyond Bitcoin 101,000, if it gaps beyond your stop, then we move the stop to a 5 or 30-minute low, depending on the pattern. If I say move the stop on, yeah, like on Qualcomm, the tighter break even or XYZ, break even on on a credit spread. I mean, break even is always your cost basis, period. Okay, that's break even. So what's your break even on selling a credit spread? The credit received, right? So if I say move the stop the tighter of Wednesday's high or break even, the you got two triggers for a stop. You got, if Wednesday's high hits first and you have a profit, close it. If it doesn't reach Wednesday's high and the debit to close still reaches your cost basis, then you close it early. You see why it was a detailed response? Tick, I mean, AD negative 1,000. This is still a fang friggin' party. Well, today in semis, of course. Man. All right, TD is triggering here. Remember on the igniting gap breakdown? I've been watching this for over a week. I said I wanted to short this thing, and now we got our sell set up. I said do a half lot.